Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Noah from PhoneDog.com. Smile, you're on TV. Well, not really. But I just want to say thanks to the folks at Samsung for lending me this handy-dandy full HD camcorder. See, it says right there, full HD, 1080p. So we can experiment with doing some PhoneDog videos in HD. So let us know what you think in the comments. HD, is it worth it? Doesn't matter? Do you care? Let us know. All right, let's get on to the dogfight. We'll take a look here at the web browsers, and they're both WebKit based, so fairly similar. They're both multi-touch enabled. They both render pages well. The iPhone browser has a few refinements to it. It's got a built-in RSS reader, which for me is something I use a lot. That, you know, kind of gives it a little bit of a nod for me, but in general, very similar. We're looking at comics.com, the Snoopy page here, or Snoopy.com, which redirects to comics.com/peanuts, the Peanuts homepage. And you can see the same page displayed on both phones, renders out pretty faithfully on both devices. On the iPhone, you've always got the address and search bar on top and your controls on the bottom. On Hero, you press Menu to pull those things up, and pretty similar in terms of controls and everything. You can, you know, on the iPhone, things like double tapping and column formatting, just a little bit faster, a little bit smoother. Little mistap there on Hero. That happens to me all the time on iPhone too, so, you know, not really that big of a deal. But you can see just a little bit of a kind of a more kind of jittery lag, kind of stuttery, you know, zooming in and out on Hero, but it's minor. I mean, I'm pointing that out because I'm reviewing the phones. If you were using it, I think in general, using the phones, you would notice lag in general on Hero, but not necessarily specifically when it comes to things like, you know, looking at the web page. Like, by itself, you might not notice it so much. Compared with the iPhone 3GS, you do notice a little bit of a lag, and it's a little more laggy on Hero, a little smoother on the iPhone 3GS. Obviously, the multi-touch for zooming in and out on iPhone, and we'll show it to you on Hero as well. And that's working pretty well on Hero there. Violet, seriously, come on, stick together as a team. What's going on anyway? Violet wants to quit because the team never wins. Charlie Brown, it's not the winning that counts, the fun is in the playing. Oh, see, yeah, because he knows, right? Team never wins. Poor Charlie Brown. We'll give you some PhoneDog. Oops. Little haptic feedback as I'm typing, which is something I forgot to point out before. On the Hero, your virtual keyboard can be set to have haptic feedback, which, you know, some people think is kind of nice. I think it can be kind of nice as well. We'll load PhoneDog up. And don't forget, you can play the One Pod Bandit. You can win some phones. So we'll take you to the BlackBerry Tour video page. Form factor wise, I like them both. I think they both feel nice. The Hero feels, it's a little more solid, a little heavier feeling than the MyTouch 3G is. And I kind of like it. I like the chin. It doesn't bug me as it did when the G1 first came out. It actually is kind of nice for talking, and it's not that bad for putting in your pocket. There's a soft grip plastic, you know, kind of rubbery plastic feel to the Hero that I really like. I think it feels really good, and I love that there's a touchscreen and a trackball. It's a nice combination. Even if I use the touchscreen much more than the trackball, I do like that the trackball's there. I think it's kind of cool. The white version of the Hero is Teflon coated to resist fingerprints and that kind of jazz. iPhone 3GS, you know, feels basically the same as the original iPhone and iPhone 3G did. It's an iconic design. It's eye-catching. I think it's nice. And it's got a slightly larger display than Hero does, which I also kind of like. And so here's the HTC Flash Player. I clicked the YouTube video and it took me to the HTC Flash Player, as opposed to on the iPhone, I clicked a video and it took me to the YouTube app. And here's the same video running on both phones.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Noah from PhoneDog.com, and this is the...
And you can see it's a little clearer on the iPhone.
See, it says it right there, Verizon. This is the BlackBerry that Verizon users have been waiting for, and straight up, it is the best BlackBerry experience to ever grace the big...
And so there you go. There's your controls.
They're pretty similar. Few qualms with the phone, the most notable of which is that it does not have Wi-Fi.
So, you know, a little bit nicer video playback on the iPhone for sure. It's a smoother, clearer picture of the same file than it is on the HTC for the YouTube player versus the HTC Flash Player. But hey, HTC's got Flash support, and you can't say that about iPhone, can you? The big difference for most people, aside from the fact that the HTC phone is only available unlocked and is not on a U.S. carrier yet if you're in the U.S., the big difference is going to be the Android market versus the Apple iTunes. Oh, do we got a little freeze? Oh, there we go. Okay. The Android market versus the Apple App Store. A gabillion apps, I think, are now available in the iTunes Store. I don't even know how many, but there are a ton of apps available. Android market's getting bigger all the time, but it's not nearly as big. And even if a lot of the apps in the Apple App Store now are garbage, one man's garbage is another man's treasure, right? And there are a ton of apps, and gaming especially is where the iPhone has and will continue to have an advantage because Apple's putting, a lot of weight behind the gaming with their relationships with other businesses as well as, the actual hardware itself. Touchscreen gaming, is what it is, and maybe not the best experience for gaming, but you're looking at two touchscreen-based phones, and you've just got a ton of apps, ton of games available in the Apple Store. Like I said, more all the time for Android, but not quite as many. Hopefully, but you do have Galaga for free. Hopefully this, let's just do a quick search for Galaga on the iPhone. Why not? Hopefully this fall and winter, as more Android phones are released, because we're still looking at supposedly somewhere between 15 and 20 Android phones before the end of the year, still, globally. Hopefully we'll see more cool apps for Android. As of right now, though, and you can see the loading process in the background, Apple took me back to the home screen. There's my app loading. With Android, it kept me in the marketplace, and then I've just got a notification up on top that Galaga installed. So, and yeah, as I was saying, hopefully, this fall and winter we'll see more and more, next year, more and more apps for Android. And, you don't need a gabillion apps, but you need a bunch of good ones. And just the way the marketplace works, the more apps you have, the more likelihood you have of having good ones, right? So, as it is now for Android, you can play games. The trackball actually is a big advantage for gaming. I didn't really think about this, but now that I'm playing Galaga, the trackball does serve almost like a gaming controller. And, fighter captured? Oh, no, it's a power-up. Oh, it's a little different with the Galaga Remix. That does actually, that's interesting. Hadn't thought about it before, but the trackball could be a boon for Android gaming. Because already I'm enjoying my Galaga experience on the Android more than I've enjoyed any shooter game on iPhone before. Just because... touchscreen for shooter games, I don't know. Let's see. It's a slicker game. You can buy the full version. I don't want to. I'm trying to touch the screen. Hello, thank you. So let's see how this works out. Oh, nice. See the authorized version though. You get the music and everything. Oh, yeah. See, it's not bad. It's not quite the same thing as actually pressing buttons, but with the multi-touch, not too bad. I love Galaga. I could play Galaga all day. And you do get the benefit of, the actual same graphics, same soundtrack and everything. I'm gonna have to. I think we're done with the. I think we're done with the video because I gotta go play some Galaga. So App Store again. You can play games. You can get productivity apps. You can get social networking apps. You can get GPS apps that track your jogging on Android, just like you can on iPhone. The thing with iPhone is you're gonna get more big name apps. You're gonna get more quality apps, and you're gonna just in general have more apps to choose from, just because of sheer volume and Apple's been so profitable, everybody wants a piece. That being said, developers are starting to move towards Android and Palm WebOS and BlackBerry App World and stuff, because there's so many apps already in the Apple App Store. They have a better chance of being found, their new apps, in places like the Android market. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the application stores in the next year or so. Apple iPhone 3GS, HTC Hero. Two of the most advanced smartphones on the market today. We could compare and contrast these phones, look at all the features, and go back and forth all day long. Really, for me, it comes down to two things. Number one is right now, number two is potential. Right now, iPhone 3GS is the winner. Why? It just works better. It's faster, the hardware is faster, the software is faster and smoother and more optimized, and everything on the phone that it does a little bit better. The apps are a little more refined, the speed is a little better, the multi-touch zooming in and out is a little bit smoother. It's been around the block, it's the new faster hardware, and it just works a little more smoothly. Now when you're looking at the future, a company like HTC isn't going to rest on their laurels. They know that the Hero is a little bit laggy. They've already been talking about software optimizations. It's just come out, it's not out yet on a US carrier. The latest rumors have it going to Sprint, possibly in October, so stay tuned for that. Maybe it'll launch at CTIA in the fall. We'll be there, so check it out. So there's a ton of potential here. HTC has done a lot with Windows Mobile over the past few years with their TouchFlow 3D user interface. It's really made the latest iterations of it on the Touch Pro 2 and Touch Diamond 2 are just incredibly usable and make Windows Mobile that much more usable to the mainstream and the power users. They're showing some of that same innovation here with TouchFlow 3D. It's just, for me, not quite smooth enough to recommend day-to-day over one of arguably the leading and the most popular smartphone in the world right now, the iPhone 3GS. It's going to get there, and it has features for the power user, the people integration, the autocomplete system with the keyboard, and the custom dictionary, things like that, the notifications that are better on paper or, in static, so to speak. They're better than what iPhone offers. They're more advanced, they're more sophisticated, they do more to keep you in touch real time. They just don't run as fast and as smoothly as iPhone's features run. And then you've also got the App Store, which for a lot of people is a huge calling card. So for me right now, I'd say this. iPhone 3GS is the winner, because it just works better, like I said. It also has a big leg up when it comes to gaming, and a small leg up when it comes to entertainment in particular. But there's a lot of potential here, hardware and software. As Android comes into its own, as more Android devices come out, the Android market should get bigger. And what HTC has shown with their custom Sense UI, there's a lot of potential coming down the line. Obviously, we can't forget about Palm Pre. We can't forget about Windows Mobile or Symbian, because they're not going away overnight. But I think right now you're looking at two of the three leading smartphones on the market for a new smartphone buyer, Palm Pre being the other one because WebOS, like Android, like the Hero, Pre with WebOS, a lot of potential, just needs some refinement and then lots more apps. But for now, still, the winner and champion is the iPhone 3GS. I know lots of people are going to argue and complain, and that's fine, because like I said, there's a lot going for Hero and Android and the Sense UI. It just needs a little more fine-tuning before I can really call it the champ. But I'll tell you what, there's a lot going on there. Apple, you better get working on iPhone OS 4, because when it comes to smartphone features, social networking, notifications, all that, HTC and Palm, I think I have a leg up on you. Till next time, I'm Noah from PhoneDog.com. Thank you so much for watching. As always, head over to PhoneDog and, sound off, voice your opinions. If you think I'm right, if you think I'm wrong, chime in the comments and the forums, let us know why, and play the One Pod Bandit for a chance to win a brand new smartphone. Till next time, we'll see you. Thank you.